Hello everyone. Today we will discuss the GPT module. To do this, go to the software settings and here we have activate the GPT module, which is turned off by default. If you have the software key, we activate it and accordingly enable it. Carefully read the information written here, that is, how it works. After enabling it, click Save and our settings are saved. After that, go to any message sending module. This option works with sending modules. This includes SMS sending by ID, open dialogues, chat distribution, autoresponder, and so on. For example, let's go to the SMS sending module. As we read earlier, all text input fields now work through GPT. For those who don't know what it is, I recommend using any search engine. For example, Google, and read about what ChatGPT is. In all modules, there will be information. Be sure to read it. If you have the GPT module activated, then accordingly, you will have this table here. Read carefully what is written here. Accordingly, all the text that we enter in the text sending field will be sent to ChatGPT, and the response received from ChatGPT will be sent, in this case, to the user's personal message. Let's analyze an example. I have prepared a text in advance. We insert it. The text looks like this. Write a welcome message to the user and invite him to subscribe to the Telegram channel. In the message text, include a link. In the text, congratulate them on the new year. The text must be unique, from 100 to 250 characters. Here you specify the request that will be sent to ChatGPT, on which you want to receive a response. That is, you can specify much more information to make it more accurate, and so on. First, I will show you this as well. Let's choose one message, any delays. Also, pay attention to working with the text. When working with this module, the software also supports syntax. That is, if we specify, for example, we're from 100 to make a syntax. For example, like this, then random variant from the syntax will be sent to the neural network. That is, you can make different variations of requests in ChatGPT using syntax. The said text also supports variables. Here they are located, that is, we can specify a specific variable. Let's specify the variable name. It looks like this. Accordingly, first this message will be sent, as I already said before, to ChatGPT. The software will receive a response from it, and then send this response either to the user, or to open dialogues with the user, or to chat distribution if you are doing a chat distribution, depending on the module you selected. Let's specify the users. Configure the software. We won't configure anything special at the moment. You can do it yourself depending on the task. Choose any random account and start the software. The software has started. The account connected to the proxy, and we carefully look at what the log is telling us. The software requests the response from the neural network, and in this neural network it sent this request, and the received response to your request from ChatGPT, the software will send to the recipient. In other words, the software will request a response from the neural network until it receives it. I think each of you understands very well that ChatGPT cannot respond instantly. So it takes time, somewhere faster, somewhere slower for the response to come from it. We read the log, and we see that the response is received. ChatGPT sent it to us. the text. In other words, the software wrote to ChatGPT, received a response, and the software sent this response to the recipient. Our variable as name was also used, and the text and the software wrote in the response that it is ChatGPT. You specify these moments in the text. For example, let's choose another account. Let's leave the task as it is. And at the end of the text, let's specify the request to the neural network. For example, don't write that you're a neural network, and we start the task. In other words, you configure the text, give the task to ChatGPT, how you want to see the final result. The software also connects. Requests a response from the neural network, and we see the result. The software responded, the response is received, and it indicated the name accordingly, because we have a variable specified. In this case, we see that the response already came without specifying that it is a neural network. In other words, these are the so-called prompts that you configure. But before using the module, I advise each of you who will use it to familiarize yourself with the information here and in the settings, and test how it all works. You can test it by sending from one account to another account. In this way, for example, by seeing the result that is obtained and adjusting the text for ChatGPT. Or, for example, let's go to the auto-posting module in chats. I already have accounts on the chat, so I choose auto-posting in chats version 2. Specify the text, but do not write the variable name. Leave the text the same, add the last sentence. About having don't write that you're a neural network and our request to ChatGPT. Specify one group, also select any account, and click on Start. As mentioned earlier, this module works with all submissions, so your text window, where you enter, becomes a request for the neural network. The software can also work in multi-threaded mode when using the ChatGPT module. But it will take some time. As you can see, it responds quite quickly, and the neural network responds and is set. Here we see the text, which is the response received from ChatGPT and accordingly sent to the chat. Especially if you are encountering something like this for the first time, I advise you to test all these moments. For example, take 1 to 2 accounts, clear them of all chats if they exist, create new chats on them, and use auto-posting version 2. This is how you can practice and see what answers you get. Test and see what it sends. There are many options. In fact, the volume that ChatGPT can handle is very large, and it all depends on how you specify the technical assignment for it and what you write for it. It can reword text. It can compose new text. You can specify in the text here for it to mention additional points. Randomization can also be used. We can not only use this link, but as I showed you before, we can specify additional links through syntax. For example, we have one link. We enter syntax and enter. For example, a second link. So each submission to ChatGPT will go with a random one from these links. The same goes for the text. The same goes for the sentences. Here, you randomize the request to ChatGPT through syntax. Because there may be tasks where you need to specify different points in the text. Or, for example, clarification, specify something in the text. All this happens here when this module is enabled and the randomization goes specifically to the submission for the neural network. And the response you receive from ChatGPT is already set depending on which module you are working in. And chats or in an autoresponder, and an open dialogue or in personal messages to users, etc. I think everything is clear enough with this module. It is quite easy to manage. Just sit down, practice, study, understand how the neural network responds, what prompts to specify so that it doesn't pour out with messages, that it is a neural network, and so on. Be sure to initially, I repeat, read the information with the module enabled, as well as read the information in the software settings. And as I already said, at the moment, the module is not sold until January 31st, 2024. The module will be sold from February, but any software user can get the module. Here are the conditions: free for a month under key. You need to contact the moderators in the sphere. Chat Messenger. So test, study, it's all quite interesting. And most importantly, don't forget that first you should try it out, see how it all works. Test it, and only then move on to full-fledged work with this module. Thank you all for watching. Bye everyone.